Hi, I'm Jean Schumacher from Simply Plant-Based Living, where I help you to change your health destiny through weight loss and, coming in 2020, the pregnancy advantage to help people to get their bodies pregnant ready. Today, I have with me Sean Herbert from Got Sprouts. And we had connected when I went down to Balance for Life in Florida. And I think you were at one of those events and got to meet you there. So, and at the National Health Association conference, you were also hanging out up there too. So you're all over the place.
I try to get to them all.
So, Sean, please share your story. How did you get involved in Sprouts?
That's a great question, and I wouldn't do it. I always tell people, don't do it the way I did it. I always tell people that, and the reason being is what happened was I got sick. And unfortunately, I was back down in 2004. I was diagnosed with severe Crohn's disease. And if you know what that is, it's basically when your immune system decides to attack the digestive tract for some reason. And back then, they didn't really know what caused it, but I had to go in immediately and do what they call a resection surgery, where they'll cut out the infected part of the colon and resect the two healthy ends of the colon. And after a couple of weeks in the hospital, they send you home and they tell you to eat baby food and pray a lot. So I got home and I just wasn't bouncing back. I was actually doing worse after surgery than I was before surgery. And so this is where my angel comes in. My wife is a 20-year cancer survivor who learned the benefits of living foods and sprouts by this place around here called the Hippocrates Health Institute. And she started taking courses there and started learning about this. And she put me on a regime of basically what I'm having for breakfast this morning. It's sunflower sprouts, pea greens, celery, and cucumber. So I have that every morning for breakfast. And back then I was actually living off it. It's loaded with protein, which is amazing for you. And so I started sprouting for myself. When I felt well enough, I learned how to sprout and started sprouting on my little kitchen counter. And it was kind of a funny story. About 3 or 4 months later, people started noticing what I was doing, and they're asking, like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm sprouting." My neighbors were coming over going, what are you doing? So here I am growing sprouts and just giving it away to everybody. Like, here, try this stuff. It's incredible. You got to try this. So I was giving sprouts to my friends, my neighbors, family, and they started telling people about me. And within a short time, I started getting phone calls from cancer patients and Crohn's patients, really, really sick people saying, "Sean, what are you doing to recover?" And back then, I hadn't done any of the research. So all I could say was, "I don't know, you got any sprouts?" And that's where the name of my company comes from, Got Sprouts with a question mark, because that's really how I started. And, over the years, I've learned quite a bit about sprouts, learned about the benefits and how they really just energize the body. And so it's been a blessing. We started again on my kitchen counter, and we're now in a 20,000 square foot warehouse in Riviera Beach, Florida. And sky's the limit. Our tagline is, "Our business is growing," and it continues to do so every year, which is great. So we have been truly blessed.
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to be moving up to Cape Cod eventually, and I'm hoping that you'll open up another branch up there. I'd love to have a store on the Cape. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That would be like a dream come true. Seriously.
Yeah, we work with all the juice bars too, so maybe we can hook up with some up there too.
Oh my God. And they're starting to sprout everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
Literally. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, especially when you can have a good source of sprouts, and a continual growth. And oh my gosh, I mean, I started using the Fresh Life, the Tri-Best Fresh Life sprout machine. Oh my God.
That's great sprouting.
Like literally I start to seethe and walk away because it waters itself and does everything for me. And I mean, in a week, I've got a fantastic growth of sprouts.
Yeah.
And it's for my husband and I, so it's, but I have a mixture of stuff that's in there. So I just will throw the kitchen sink in, all the seeds, and call it a day. And it can't be any easier than that. I mean, seriously. Yeah. And so, well, you've got a website. Share with us what you're doing on your website and what's going on and all the things that you offer.
Yeah, so we've kind of started when we're coming out. We really got connected with the Hippocrates Health Institute. I actually grow for them sometimes. I do a lot of teaching over there as well. And
that's an amazing place, by the way. If anybody's never been to the Hippocrates, I had the privilege of going to spend an afternoon there and got a tour of the place. And oh my God, if anybody is sick or really needs to reboot their life, wow, talking about an amazing place to just go and reset.
Yeah, it's a great teaching facility as well. They teach so much information they give you, which is great.
It's an amazing place, amazing place. So anyway, sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah,
continue on.
Yeah, so we do a lot of work with them, and so recently we just put a cooler in their store, so now we're selling Sprouts out of their store for them. We ship for them as well, and then we are kind of getting connected with like Balance for Life is one that we're working with as well, and I'm looking for Wigmore Natural Health Institute down in Puerto Rico. We're working with them as well, so we're really getting connected with all these health food institutes. And with that, honestly, the way the vegan is going right now, I mean, you've seen it. It's going to be the future,
right?
So we're right at the kind of the tipping point where people are starting to realize the benefits of Sprouts.
Oh my gosh!
I had a great story the other day. I was talking to we're thinking about the National Health Association that we went to that meeting, and was it April? I think it was. And I was thinking some of the doctors there, and I wanted to call Dr. Bernard and ask him, we need to reset the food pyramid for vegans, because they're really the foundation for all vegan food. People who are eating vegan should be Sprouts. You should be getting Sprouts as the basis, because that's all the proteins that the body needs, and it's all in that growing form. I like to kind of tell people what Sprouts really are. It's like if I flooded a room full of adults full of puppies and 2-year-olds, all of us adults would be saying, wow, I wish I had their energy. But that's what Sprouts are to the plant kingdom. They're like little baby alkaline batteries bursting with the energy of the sun. So it's really it really gives you a lot of energy and a lot of just it really completes your life. I mean, it really gives you a great foundation for nutrition to be able to have the energy that you need to really work your life. So it's really amazing.
Well, I was blown away when I was at Hippocrates to see the vast array of Sprouts. I'd never seen in a salad bar like that any place ever. That level of
there are about 17 different brands of Sprouts there, so it's just quite a bit to choose from.
It was amazing. I just I mean, and when you eat the Sprouts, you can just literally feel the energy flooding your body. I mean,
life in, life out, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. So you ship all over, right?
We do, yeah.
How does that work? I mean,
we deliver about 3,700 people locally here, and then we ship all over the country, the continental United States for Sprouts. We also ship to Hawaii for seeds and things like that, and supplies, and growing supplies. We ship a lot further, but just for Sprouts, we overnight it. So when you call us, we ship Monday through Thursday. We would cut your Sprouts fresh in the morning. We have to chill them down for a number of hours before we can actually package them with ice packs so it doesn't shock the plant. And then we ship them overnight. You get them by about 10:30 the next morning. You open up the package, put them in the fridge. They'll last about 10 days in the refrigerator.
I've noticed that mine last about a week in the fridge. Yeah. And is there a better way to store them in the refrigerator? Like I was using paper towels. Is that a good thing or bad thing? Or
yeah, it's actually good because you want to keep the Sprouts dry. That's the most important thing. Especially sunflower Sprouts are the most difficult to keep because you want to keep them dry. So these are called Debbie Meyer Greenbags. It's got a picture of the space station on the front of it. They actually use them in the space station. That's how good these are. It actually takes some of the chemicals and things out that the Sprouts give off, which would be the oxygen and things like that, and lets them escape. So it doesn't, keep going into the plant. It lets them breathe basically when you're storing them. So it's called a Debbie Meyer Green Bag or Everett Fresh Bags is what they're called.
So just to store the Sprouts in that?
Yeah. So you cut your Sprouts, put them inside there. If they're wet, you want to kind of dry them before you put them in the refrigerator because they'll stay longer.
Okay.
But I think the one we have the most problems with is really sunflower because it really gives a lot of moisture off.
Yeah.
So I usually put a little paper towel and take it out every 2 or 3 days and replace it. Keep it dry.
Okay. All right. Well, you have an affiliate program. How does that work?
We do have an affiliate program. What we're doing right now is if you sign up as an affiliate, the first $100 you don't really make anything off of. So it's like the first 10 pounds of Sprouts that you refer to people. The second, once you start the second, you get 10% off each thing. So it builds up very quickly after that. So we want people who are definitely going to be doing it, seriously. We want people who are very into this lifestyle.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, let's get to some technical questions. I mean,
Sure.
what is the easiest way to remove holes for my sprouts? I seem to have these little things. I mean, like,
Yeah. So for the tiny sprouts like the alfalfa, broccoli, clover, and things like that, if you're sprouting them in a jar or your sprouter there, they usually come in like a big clump. So you want to take the clump out of the mason jar, pull it apart, get a bowl of water,
uh-huh.
put them inside the bowl of water and push them underneath the water. So submerge them underwater and spin them around. Salad containers work really good, the salad spinners. You can put them underneath the water, spin it around like this. All the husks and the hard things and seeds will float to the top, and you simply scoop them off and get them all out of there. So that's one way to do it. For sunflower seeds, if you've ever grown sunflower in soil, you get the seeds that are on the top there for you. What I do is I wait till they're about maybe 2 or 3 inches tall. I'll water them really well and wait about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll put a glove on my hand and then wipe my hand over the top of them, and they'll actually pop right off. So that's another way to get rid of holes.
And they just fall to the bottom.
Yeah, they just pop right off. Yeah. So
nice.
if you do it fast enough, they'll go right off the tray. Those are the ways to get rid of husks and seeds, unwanted seeds, and things like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once you're done submersing them, pull it out, dry it out, and let it sit for a while.
Well, how do you dry them?
Yeah, so if I have the clump of, I call it the mat, basically, if I pull that out of the water, you want to pull them apart and then put them on a paper towel and kind of dab them with a paper towel. And then I'll take a little fan and just turn a fan on and let it blow on there nice and lightly.
Okay.
So you don't need even ceiling fans will work really well too.
Okay.
Just need some airflow.
There you go. Well, what are the health benefits of sprouting?
Wow, that's a great question. I could go on for this for hours. Give an example. Sprouts are the most nutritious food on the planet. They contain anywhere from 10 to 400 times the nutritional value of their adult counterparts. And give you a great example, broccoli microgreens. So 1 ounce of broccoli microgreens is said to be as nutritious as 1.5 pounds of adult broccoli. I call it nature's fast food. So you don't have to eat a lot of sprouts to get the benefit from it. That's the beauty of it. Again, I call it nature's fast food because you can just eat a little bit and you get a big bang for your buck.
Wow.
Give an example like wheatgrass. They say juicing 2 ounces of wheatgrass is the same as eating 5 pounds of fresh vegetables. So it's off the charts nutritionally.
Okay, but the taste, I mean, please, come on. You know.
Well, that's the thing. If you grow it correctly, it should be sweet. It should taste like sweet grass. And
really?
It's more palatable for most people. My wife's been doing it for 25 years. She's always hated the taste of it. But here's a couple things you can do. Have you ever heard of the tequila trick? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So you lick your hand, put a little organic cinnamon on there.
Okay.
Take your shot, swig it around your mouth for a little bit. The reason why you swig your wheatgrass around is really good for your gums, number one. Number two, it actually helps you so you don't have that reflex when you gag. So you take it, swig it around for a little bit, and it actually gets sweeter in your mouth when you do that. And then you swallow it, and then you lick the cinnamon right off your hand. And it takes the taste right out of your mouth.
Because, yeah, that, I'm not going to lie, that is some pretty, that's like drinking swamp grass.
It is acquired taste, that's for sure. But if you use a hard red winter wheatgrass seed, is the most important because it's the sweetest. And it tastes the best. So that's why we use that one.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. Well, are sprouts, like, I get this question sometimes, like, are they safe? You know?
Yeah, great question. Yep. I don't know if you've heard anything, they probably don't publicize this very much, but back in 2015, President Obama put in the Food Safety Modernization Act.
Yeah.
And there's a subpart in that act called Subpart M, as in Mary, and it covers the entire sprout industry. And to be honest with you, the sprouts are probably the most regulated, most tested food there is. So when you actually are taking sprouts in the store, it's probably the safest thing you could find in that store because it's been tested all the way through from seed to sprout. So it's really quite a seed to harvest, I should say, and packaging as well. They even go that far. But when we started, it's funny, I call myself God Sprouts at the time because everybody was calling it Sprouts. We actually grow probably 9 microgreens and 1 sprout. We only do this bean mix is the only things. The difference between sprouts and microgreens basically is sprouts are grown in water. So it's basically like a seed, like your bean mix seed. We do it zucchini, mung beans, garbanzos, red lentils, and green lentils. We'll soak those overnight, and that gets rid of all the lectins and all the protective enzymes in the plant. And then you rinse them really well. And then the next day they'll have these little tiny tails on them, and then you can start eating them. And that's considered a sprout because it was soaked in water and then it sprouted. What we do with the larger plants like wheatgrass, sunflower, pea greens, and buckwheat lettuce, we actually grow those in soil. And you soak your seeds overnight, rinse them out really well, and then you sprinkle them over the top of the soil. And the gestation period and the harvesting period, it takes about 10 days to get those sprouts. Where sprouts themselves are done in about 24 hours to 36 hours. Microgreens take about 8 to 10 days to grow. So you can see them behind me. Those are microgreens.
Okay. Just happen to have some handy.
Just happen to have some floating around here.
That's good. So what's it? Well, you kind of went through it, but the big difference between microgreens and sprouts?
Yeah, basically one's grown in soil and one's grown in water. That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Yes,
okay.
Sprouts are done in water and microgreens are done in soil.
Okay. So what is the shelf life of sprouting seeds?
That's a great question. It depends on the seed as well. If you have hulled seeds that have holes on them, give an example like sunflower, whole buckwheat has holes on them, they'll last about 9 months to a year. The ones that don't have a hole in it, you can actually keep them almost indefinitely. I know they found some in some wheat seed actually in the tombs in Egypt, and they're still viable after thousands of years. So as long as you keep your seeds in a cool, dark, dry place, that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, where do your seeds come from?
That's a great question too. When I first started, I only had one seed supplier, and because we're certified organic, which we're under a lot more regulations because we are certified organic, I probably get seeds from about 15 different farms around the country, and we test our seeds. So they'll send us a little bit, we'll test it out and make sure it's very, what I call viable. And the growing rate should be between 90 and 99%. So we want really good viable seed. When I find a viable seed, what I try to do is buy the entire lot of that seed, which means the entire harvest. And that could be tractor trailer loads full of seed. And then I store it in a very cool area. So we keep in a cool, dark, dry place. But we actually have a seed refrigerator that we put them in.
Okay.
So it is a whole process what we do. But yeah, your seeds you can keep them for a long time as long as you keep them cool, dark, dry place. We purchase seeds all over the United States, depending on where they're located. A lot of things coming out of California. The Midwest is really a big growing area. So that's where all our seed come from. We don't import seeds from any other countries. Right?
Well, that's my next question. I think you kind of nailed that one, kind of, sort of. Yeah. I've noticed that mung beans and azuki beans are grown in China. How do I know that they're organic?
Yeah, that's ask your seed purveyor when you purchase your seeds where they're getting them from, and they'll tell you whether it's United States or another country. By law, they actually have to tell you that now. That's one of the things with the Food Safety Modernization Act. They upgraded that as well. And you have to have papers explaining they're certified organic all the way through. And they have to supply them to our regulations of certified organic to be able to come to America and go through that. I don't purchase anything out of the United States. I try to get everything as local as I possibly can. So I'm not totally familiar with purchasing internationally, so I couldn't give you all the information on that. But that's one of the things that they've really cracked down on. And us also, when we ship overseas, if the people, I've actually had China actually call me and try to buy my mung beans.
Really?
Yeah, I said, well, I couldn't do it. Their quantities are so huge that I, just going right to the farm wouldn't be going through this. It'd take me forever to get through this one with paperwork and things. But yeah, we're members of the International Sprout Growers Association. So when we go to the meetings and things like that, you'll meet people from all over the world and sprout growers. And it's kind of a nice little niche of great sprout growers. And these guys some can be huge. Some of these huge conglomerates are pretty amazing. And China has quite a big sprout population. Mung bean is one of the staples of their diets. India, another one. The beans are amazing for people. So they're used in so many different ways. Yeah.
I've heard the term heirloom bandied around. What is that, and are your seeds heirloom?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't know how many are heirloom. Heirloom is kind of the original seed, which you can get. Over the years, I mean, you've heard of GMOs, right? So I know you just did a big thing with Jeffrey Smith recently, right? So we've been hybridizing seeds since the beginning. So beginning of, as soon as our farmers come together and they've been hybridizing. They basically take one type of wheat and mix it with another type of wheat and get a different type of wheat. So that's been going on for centuries. When you're looking at GMO, that's a whole different spectrum because they're actually trying to put things that are not naturally to plants into the plant to protect the plant. And it's been backfiring on them. If we've done some research on it, it's pretty scary what's going on with that.
Well,
so I try to stay away from GMOs as much as possible. That's all I can say.
Oh my gosh. And if you've not seen the interview that I did with Jeffrey Smith, oh my God, from the movie Secret Ingredients, I just have to put a plug in for that. Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was a huge movie. And to me, I mean, that just had resonated so much. And just to talk with him, he is like a walking encyclopedia of knowledge.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
There's a great documentary too called The Seed. That's a great one as well. And it basically tells you the state of our seeds, which is extremely scary. They start off with showing you we used to have 98 different types of asparagus. Now we're down to 2. So it's really kind of amazing what's happening. But people are taking steps to preserve their heirloom seeds now. So,
and I'm grateful for those people who do.
Yeah,
I am.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just think we're coming to an implosion at some point with our seeds or growing or the food industry. I just think there's, and I hate to think that because I'm always an optimistic kind of person and have hope. But anyway, so are your seeds, non-GMO?
They are non-GMO and they're certified organic. So which means they've been certified all the way through. So from the farming on to where we receive them, they're certified.
Well, what does that mean, certified organic? Define the process and
Yeah, so I think it was 2000 or 2001, the National Organic Program started. And that's where the Congress mandated that you had to be certified. You could become certified where you actually go and learn how to certify seeds. So now they have inspectors, like we have a company called QCS, which is Quality Certification Services. They actually come to our farm and we have to go through the rigorous checklist of what they want from us. And this includes seed, soil, water, the growing area, the facility, where you harvest, how you chill your sprouts, everything is certified. So our entire facility is certified. So they actually come in and spend a whole day with us, sometimes 2 or 3 days, and go through our entire growing process and watch the entire process unfold. And then they basically go through their checklist and say, is this certified? Is it certified? If they're not, then they'll issue you what they call a notice of noncompliance, where you have a certain 24 hours basically to switch that and change that so it becomes certified. Otherwise, you lose your certification.
Ooh, don't want that.
No, it's a lot of work. And it took me, when I first started, it took me about 8 months to get the certification. And the reason why I got it, I mean, what I'm competing with now, there's a lot of people out there that are growing sprouts at home. They're growing sprouts on their back patios. They're growing sprouts everywhere. We have, because I grow for health, it's extremely important to me that I have every possible way to tell people I grow for health. So I want the best seed. I want the best soil. I want the best water available. Everything that I put into this is really for health. So I'm dealing with a lot of, when we started, I want to say we had about 85% were cancer patients. So it was extremely important to me that my sprouts were safe, certified, and we were getting the best product we had available. So again, we do it for health because my wife and I wouldn't be here if we didn't do it. So, literally.
I mean, and I think that's, for a lot of us, we hit that brick wall when we realized that what we're doing is not working in terms of our health. For me, it was a trip to the emergency room. For you, it was Crohn's disease. For your wife, it was cancer.
Yeah.
So I think we have to come to that brick wall and say, ooh, boom. Okay, now what? What we're doing is not working. So I'm grateful that there's people like you out there that are growing food that is going to help us, give us that what I call hyperalimentation and give us concentrated amounts of food that are going to be helping us to restore our health, because we can do that, and it's through the plants. It's the food.
And
It's the
it
food.
is, you know, you're absolutely right when you say that. It was funny. I was driving down the street yesterday, and I was thinking, we were doing an interview on the radio, and I was trying to think about, you know, what should I bring up about this? And I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about, you know, the heroin epidemic, the fast food things, and everything that's going on with fast foods now and things like that. And I was like, you know, it really all comes down to the food. It's what we put into our bodies is what's causing all these things that we're having. Even the anxiety that people feel nowadays. The
Right.
more you do this, the less anxious you're going to be because you're not feeling like you're in conflict with each other, especially yourself.
I think about this with my brother. My whole family, no one, I'm the only one who's changed, you know, my food.
Yeah,
And
I know that one too. I can tell you that story.
yeah.
So tell me your story. I want to hear this one.
Well, I'm at the gas station with my brother. He had done something for me. So I said, let me fill your truck up. And he's got a big diesel truck.
Yeah.
And as he's filling the truck up with diesel, he goes into the back and he pulls out this like chemistry experiment. I mean, literally. I mean, and mixing all this stuff together, all these additives, all this stuff, these chemicals, and then he puts it into the tank. And I said, what's that? You know, of course, I'm always asking questions, you know. And he's like, oh, well, that's going to help the long life of the truck, you know, the engine and the blah, 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 and he's going through this whole thing, and my eyes are glazing over. But, you know, I just, you know, it just hit me. It hit me. Okay, you put a phenomenal amount of effort, energy, and research into how to best run that truck. But yet, you don't care anything or minimal amount about the fuel that's going into your body, that's running your body.
Amen, sister.
Is there? I'm kind of curious about this, you know, and it just makes me crazy that doctors are like are clueless. Not all. I mean,
well, no, they're being educated. That's for sure.
Not fast enough because I mean, there's still a lot out there. I mean, I hear from people all the time from, you know, they go to their doctors and their doctor like, no, eat whatever you want. And I'm like, what? You know?
Oh, it's right after my surgery, they brought me a big bowl of pudding and Jell-O. They said, oh, you can eat this. My wife almost killed the nurse. That's what got him here.
That to me is amazing. And I have to have a shout out to Dr. Robert Otzfeld at the Montefiore Hospital, who's gotten plant-based offerings at the 5 hospitals at Montefiore. Not only that, but he has running in the background on the television 24/7 Forks Over Knives.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, so right? We got invited, I want to say 9 years ago, to Miami University to go down there, and we actually juice wheatgrass for them. So people, it was all for doctors. And every year we just went down there, I want to say 2 months ago. And it's all plant-based now. So the doctors are really getting this. So it's great that they're really starting to incorporate this.
Well, and I'm doing a lot of stuff at Plant City. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yes, you told me about it. Yeah, yes, fantastic.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Kim Anderson, you rock, honest to goodness. I mean, she has, you know, connected with Matthew Kenny, and they have got this enormous warehouse in Providence, right? And it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, right on the river. Center of downtown Providence, and the neighborhood is being gentrified, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. She gutted the warehouse, and it's now 6 different restaurants.
That's fantastic. And that's happening all over the world. They're really all over the country too. I'll tell you, it's really happening.
Well, she's going next, I believe, to Boston and get one in like major cities around the country. But she also kept in the basement an area for the community. So there's the plant-based docs who are running. There's 3 of them that work out of the cellar that help and do classes. They do 30-day immersion. So, you know, kudos to them. I mean, that's
awesome. Yeah,
it's starting. I'm also doing classes up there too. I have to shout out to me.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm doing a whole bunch of classes. You can find what classes and the events on Simply Plant-Based and the dates and times and when I'm going to be there. So I do cooking demos and, you know, health lectures a lot. So,
yeah,
but it is happening. It is happening, you know.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, when you compare even just 5 years ago, you know, the stuff that has happened in the past 5 years, it's like a tsunami that's happening. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, I think doctors realize, and you look at Dr. Esselstyn, what he went through.
Oh my God.
to be where he is now. Dr. T. Colin Campbell from the China study, unbelievable work that he did. So if people are waking up, they're really realizing this is the way to go.
Well, and Dr. McDougall, Dean
Yeah,
Ornish,
yeah, oh yeah,
I stand on their shoulders,
yeah.
of knowledge, because they're just amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the next generation that's coming around that's learning about all of this and
Yeah.
healing other people through plants.
And healing the planet as well. That's the other beautiful thing.
I know.
They're really taking responsibility for the planet as well. So that's great.
It is. It's all good.
Yeah.
So what do you got? There's a whole bunch of stuff behind you. What do we got going back there?
So this is a tray of wheatgrass here for you, and soil base. And I always tell people, I said I like people who grow in soil. The reason being is wheatgrass has 103 vitamins and minerals that are in the sprout, or excuse me, the wheatgrass itself. 98 of it comes from the soil that it's grown in. Do you see a lot of soil left?
No.
It actually eats the soil. I did this video a long time ago, and I was telling people about the B12 that's in wheatgrass, and said, hey, it can't be in B12, it can't be in wheatgrass because it's in the soil. I'm like, do you see any soil? It eats it. There it is.
Really?
So that's what wheatgrass is here. Yeah, wheatgrass is neat.
That is just so luxuriant and so green.
Oh, I take it to the events there. Everybody's got to pet it.
I know, it does. It just
a
looks
very
like
large chia pet, right?
I was just going to say, that looks like a big chia pet.
And this we use the hard red winter wheat seed. That's what we use. That's the sweetest wheatgrass, so that's why we use that one. Next, we have the sunflower. These guys are huge, so hold those in. This is seed. We use black oil sunflower seeds, what we used to grow those. These are all certified organic, non-GMO. This tree is about 30 pounds, so give me a sec. So this is sunflower. And this is grown from the black oil sunflower. Remember I told you to water your sprouts and then wipe your hand over the top of them? You see these little seeds here?
Uh-huh.
They'll take those seeds right off like that.
Now, do you do what kind of glove do you use?
I used to use a vinyl glove, like the kind of restaurant gloves you get from restaurant supply. Let's see what else. Pea greens up here.
Oh, I love pea greens. I love peas, period.
Yeah, these are pea greens. These are monsters too.
Oh.
So what I do with these, we grow these to actually juice as well. A lot of people juice these. So what I usually do is I'll cut the top of them off, use them for salads, and I'll use the stems for the juicing. So you can do that as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like it's a good thing I'm talking to you. I'm learning so much.
I was juicing the other day, and I was like, why is this taking me so long? I couldn't quite figure it out. And then my wife goes, use one of those little, those cutting boards that you can roll up.
Uh-huh.
So I slice up my sprouts really fine, roll them up, and then pour them right into the juicer. It took probably 30 minutes off my juicing time. So
wow.
She's amazing. She worked in restaurants for 20 years, so anytime I have questions about cooking, I ask her. So she's really good. These are easy sprouters. You can see that. And it's a very simple sprouter. And this, I call it my 6-pack at home. I've got 6 of these at home. And it basically what it is, it's a solid pitcher, and then a pitcher that has holes. The pitcher has holes, slides in there like this. And then you soak your seeds in here, fill it with water, soak your seeds in it. The next morning you rinse, dump all the water out, and that sits up like this. So people who grow in mason jars, you have the issue, sometimes you have running mold issues and things like that because it's not getting airflow. This creates a lot of natural airflow, so it actually, airflow goes all the way around and all the way through like a chimney. And this is the top part I put up in here like this to act like a chimney. So actually the airflow will go down and up. So it really makes sprouts probably about a day quicker than you would in a mason jar. And then when you're done, you just drop it down, and it comes with a nice handy lid. You put that on top, put it in the refrigerator, and try to eat. And anytime you want to rinse it, take it out, put it back in. Isn't that neat? So it's a self-contained sprouting, and it keeps your sprouts fresh, which is great. So that's kind of
that's great.
Yeah, called Easy Sprouter because it's easy. And then, of course, you have your mason jar, and we have the special lids that we put on top of mason jars. When I first started sprouting, like you do the alfalfa, broccoli, clover, radish, things like that. Well, the first thing I did, because I didn't have a lot of energy when I started sprouting, was I tried to learn what sprouts had the same soaking times and the same rinsing times. Instead of doing them separately, I started doing them all together. So give you an example. So I did, so this is the bean mix here.
Right.
This is adzuki, mung beans, garbanzos, red lentils, and green lentils all mixed together in them. Literally, you pour that 1/3 because it's 1 to 3. Whatever one seed you put in, you'll get 3 times as much out. You fill it with water. So you put the seed down here, fill it with water, soak it overnight, rinse it out real good the next morning, rinse it out one more time in the afternoon. The next morning, you'll have these little tails on them and they're ready to eat. So within 36 hours, you've got food. So I love these. You can make pâtés, hummus, snack foods. My Jody uses sunflower seeds and puts them in with them. And adds a little oil, little vinegar, and things like that. You can season them any way you want to. But it's a great snack food.
You let them grow out, though, right?
You can actually let them grow out. But what I found was they say the highest nutritional value for a bean is when the seed, the tail is as long as the seed. So at that point, it's the highest nutrition. So what I do is as soon as it starts sprouting, I'll put them in the refrigerator so I'll slow it down. So I get to enjoy them while it's getting more and more and more nutritious over the week. So, and you can also make hummuses and other things with it too. So you can make pâtés, hummuses. It's the most versatile food I think there is the bean mix. So that's why I love this one. Whenever I get people to start sprouting, start with this. It's real simple. 36 hours, you got food.
Wow. Okay. That is. I'm learning a lot because I'm just like you in the beginning, I just kind of stumbled along this. My girlfriend said, you got to try this. I like the Try Best and Fresh Life.
Yeah, it's excellent.
You have to try this, and I'm like, okay. And she actually brought it. We had a girls' weekend at our house up on the Cape, and we had a girls' weekend, and a bunch of us got together and just hung, they're plant-based and hung together, and we had fun. And she brought her sprouts up with her. She's like, I can't leave them at home. I'm like, oh, okay. So she put her sprouts with her, and I haven't looked back. So I'm kind of stumbling. I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm still stumbling along and learning. Yeah, clearly, we need to have more conversations.
Yeah, I mean, just the way I love watching your cooking classes, so I learned all the shortcuts of doing this, and that's it. You want to learn from people who are doing it, so you can make it simpler.
Right.
And again, it's a lifestyle. If you're doing this every day, you want to make sure it's as simple as possible.
Well, I had heard there's bacteria and stuff that can get in there. I mean, is that an issue? Is that a problem?
I've never heard of any bacteria issues coming down with organic seeds. So you can soak your seeds in food grade hydrogen peroxide, just a drop. So fill it with water, put a drop of hydrogen peroxide in there, swish it around really good, just make sure it rinses really good. And that'll help too. What I use is acidic water. So if you ever have an alkalizer?
I do.
Alkalizer gives off alkaline water, and then the byproduct is acidic water. So take acidic water, soak your seeds in that, and that'll actually help kill bacteria that's in the seeds.
What pH are we talking?
It's probably like 2.5 around there to 5.5.
Okay.
To keep them. And the plants love acidic water because they're alkaline. They actually absorb it. So that does real well. And when I water the plants, I actually use alkaline water when I water because it really absorbs very well.
So, like, what pH should I use in my Fresh Life?
What you got to tell me what kind of alkalizer you have. Is it coming out?
Well, I have an Enagic, so I can change it with a touch of a button. So I can go from 6 to 8, 8.5 to 9, 9.5. I can drop it down a little bit,
Yeah, I'd like 5.5 to 6.5 is kind of a good range.
Okay. Well, in reality, the water that comes out, I have several different waters at my house.
Nice. Yeah.
So I have a reverse osmosis, but the water coming out of that comes out at a pH of about 5.3.
Okay.
But the water is very oxidizing if you test it on a ORP meter, oxidation reduction potential. So it's quite oxidizing. So is that okay to use with plants?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I have a hydroponic tower. It's not up now. It's on the Cape, waiting for us to move up there. At some point soon, we're going to be moving up to the Cape. So my hydroponic tower, we're starting to gradually move things as we can. Every trip to the Cape, you need another carload of stuff. Amazing how much stuff you have after.
Yes. We just moved our office over the weekend. I know exactly what you're going through. Not that little. Have you ever heard of the tower garden?
Yes, I have a foodie vertical tower. That's my hydroponic system as opposed to the tower. So I'm interested to learn a little bit more about the tower because that uses a little bit different system, I think. So tell us about the tower.
It's an aeroponic system.
Mm-hmm.
Right behind me. So this is a picture of the tower garden. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
So on the bottom here, you have 20 gallons of water that you have on the bottom, and that you put your, Tim Blank, who is the designer of this, he also does the Epcot Center in Disney World. So he's in charge of all the gardens. So he devised the simplest way that you can possibly garden, and this is called an aeroponic system. So on the bottom here, it actually has a pump in the water here.
Right.
It shoots water up there, and there's also a timer for that as well, so you don't have to worry about watering the plants. It does it all by itself. Goes on for about 15 minutes for every hour, and it filters through all the openings. And there's 20 openings on the tower garden. You can make it as tall as you want to, but it starts with 20. And it filters through this every hour for 15 minutes, waters your plants for you, and feeds your plants. So I actually bought the light kit as well, and I'm doing greens and herbs on it. I'm able to feed a family of 4 a whole month with that. You can eat off of each plant 4 times before you have to replace the plant. So within 2 weeks after you harvest it, 2 weeks later it's full again. So it's kind of neat. You do that for almost a month for each plant. So it works.
I had mine going for over a year, and I finally had to, you want to clean it out, periodically.
Yeah.
So I had mine going. I mean, apart from, you change the water, you change the reservoir and stuff like that, but to completely clean it out, I take it apart once a year. So when I figured, okay, when I took it apart, okay, well, just move it up there, because it's a lot of work to maintain. Not a lot of work, but I mean, it's constant. You're constantly checking the pH, you're constantly checking the water to make sure that the growing, the water reserve is correct and nutrients and things. So it's fabulous.
Pretty similar. Yeah, it's pretty similar with a tower garden. You got to check the pH once a week. You want to keep between 5.5 and 6.5. And you also want to just check the water level. As the plants get larger, you probably have to fill up. And what I do is I got it down just so it's where it's so simple. I have a 5-gallon bucket. I fill it up with water if it needs it, and I'll put the drops in there that I need to do. So everything's perfect when I put it in. So I never have to really check it at all. Every 2 weeks I check the pH, but just check the water level is all I have to do once a week when the plants get very large. So,
nice. Wow.
But I keep it simple, people.
I know, right?
That's the hard part, keeping it simple.
It is. It's true. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to share with us back there? What else you got?
Well, we've got, let me see what else I've got. I think that's it. I have juicers. We got into juicing as well when we first started this whole thing, and dehydrators. We use the Excalibur dehydrator. I recommend a 9-tray instead of a 4-tray, because I say if you're going to be dehydrating for 2 days, you might as well get a lot out of it. So
right.
I like to do.
What do you dehydrate?
I do kale crackers. The green juice that I'm doing, the sunflower and pea greens and celery and stuff, the leftovers, I'll take that, I'll put some spices on it, and you can make little crackers out of them. So use everything. If you're putting carrot juice in there and stuff like that, making carrot juice, use the pulp, dehydrate it, and you got little crackers. You make little pâtés, you can make little, I call them little burgers, but they're little vegetable burgers.
Okay.
And you can actually make vegetable burgers as well. My wife has done that as well. You do a lot of neat stuff with this.
Wow, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Oh, yeah. Sean, we have to have another conversation because, wow.
Well, yeah, we can do some cooking classes. I'll have Jody come over. She'll help you right out.
Okay, absolutely. I want to learn this. Oh, my goodness. I mean, especially with the dehydrator. I just got one, and I haven't unboxed it yet because, like, again, we're trying to move,
so don't unbox it yet.
I don't want to unbox it yet. I want to get up to the Cape and then start doing the dehydrating, on a bigger level. So, so it's definitely an avenue I want to start to experiment with and learn about from people who clearly have done this ahead of me. So.
Yeah. Oh, there's some amazing people out there. It really is. Well, that was one of the beautiful things about being connected with Hippocrates is a lot of people come down here and they teach classes, and you want to learn from these people because they're amazing. And Gideon Graff, are you familiar with him at all?
I am not.
So his wife passed away, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago. Amazing couple. They pulled up in a Winnebago at my house to do a cooking class. And I said, is there anything you need? They said, just a trash can. I said, that's all you need. I said, no, we brought everything. So they literally pull up the Winnebago. They come out. We have 40 people in my house. They they did within 45 minutes, they did breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a whole week in little containers. So when you open up your refrigerator, you had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All the food was already done. She's teaching you about it while he's processing it. So he's back there with his Vitamix and his blender and doing all those things. And she's explaining how this all works and what the menu is going to be like after the week. The coolest thing was at the end of the class, you open up the refrigerator and you have the whole week's food already prepared for yourself. And you can literally, I don't want this on Monday. I'm going to take a little bit of this. So they would do the spiralized zucchini. They pull that out, pull the marinara sauce from Thursday, put it together, and they would have their spaghetti. So it's raw spaghetti. They had the cool, I mean, it was the most beautiful presentation I've ever seen anybody do. And then I found out later they had one of the largest vegan restaurants in Atlanta for the last 20 years. So this was nothing for them. So they would literally whip out your whole week's worth of food within 45 minutes.
I mean, I do that on the weekends. I batch cook.
Yeah.
So I always have a huge dish of rice, huge dish of potatoes, beans, and my sprouts. And I make salads. I put my salads into containers. And so at the end of the week, I usually take a picture. Here is my refrigerator at the end of the week,
That's
getting
beautiful.
ready. Because I live by this mantra. Failure to plan is a plan for failure.
Amen.
If you're not setting yourself up for success in health, it's your body will hit that brick wall at some point. And
think about your brother. I mean, the story you told about your brother, I was that guy. And my wife's looking at me going, what are you doing? And I'm like, you're right. And the more you think about it, you're absolutely right. And I said, my biggest problem, I kept telling people, I said, I'm an opportunistic eater. She goes, what do you mean by that? I said, anybody puts it in front of me, I'll eat it. Because I don't like cooking. So thank God for Jody's, And she would literally plan out your menu for the month, for the week, and then have it ready for you when you come in. So that's why you're absolutely right when you say that. The biggest problem why people can't stay on a raw food diet or a living food diet or a vegan diet or anything they want to do is because they fail to plan.
Right. It's true. I mean, you've got to have the food because you have to clean your house out. It has to become your wellness center. Truly.
Yes.
It has to be your wellness center. And if you don't do that, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
Because if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. Yeah. And when you start to learn about the things that are happening with our food sources and the supplies, then like eating out is going to be a landmine unless you have a place like next door in Ossining. I have to give a shout out to Good Choice Kitchen. Chef Lori is amazing, and she's whole food plant-based. She's cooking. She's got rid of the oil thanks to me. Okay, yes. And so she's doing everything right. So I can call up and have a couple meals delivered. Like if we're going on the road, I'll be like, we're going here. Can you make a big bunch of stuff that I can eat up? And we use it's called the Mini Hot Logic. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that?
No.
I like a hot meal. I do. I can't eat raw 100%. Yeah. And I like a hot meal when we travel. So this is Mini Hot Logic. It looks like a little lunchbox, but it's got a gentle warming tray in the bottom. And this is how high tech it is. You plug it in, it's on. You unplug it, it's off. That's my kind of technology. I like that. So then they have a adapter for the car. So we plug it in, and I'll put the food into a couple glass dishes. And, we'll be heating it up as we're driving. And so when we stop, wherever we're going to stop and have lunch, first of all, for myself, I call this like peeling back layers of an onion. And you start to learn about yourself, and
very good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things I have learned is that I cannot have salt. I can't. Mm-hmm. It will raise my blood pressure without question. Mm-hmm. And then it will take several days for it to get out of my body. Mm-hmm. And in that several days, I will be dealing with the fluid, the inflammation in my body, and my body's not happy. And so it's very, very difficult for me to eat out or to travel unless I plan ahead, like what we do. When I travel, for me, the Mecca is to go to the National Health Association.
Yeah. you know it's good.
Yeah, I mean, Wanda, Mark, oh my God, you guys are like amazing. And Wanda takes care of setting up the conference and the food. So I don't have to ask questions. I don't have to beg for food to be prepared and question whether it was done or not, because Wanda's in the back going,
right. Yes.
And she's like hovering over this and making sure every detail is perfect. So I love that. To me is like the mecca to go to.
And the food was excellent. It was so good. It was amazing. Yeah, I loved it. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah.
No, amazing.
They do a really nice job.
Yeah.
So they're doing one in January, right? Down in Deerfield.
They are. They're coming down to you guys. So definitely connect. I mean, they're amazing. I wish I could come, but I'm still teaching at that time. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's going to be, they're always.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I'm going to get a hold of Mark and Wanda and say, listen, we're putting Sprouts on the menu this year.
Right?
Because we're already working with that hotel, so that'd be great.
Oh, Balance for Life and Frank Sabatino. He's incredible. Absolutely, absolutely incredible. And if anybody needs a smart vacation, you got to go down and see Frank. Frank is just amazing. And plus, get him to play the harmonica. Yeah. Who knew? He did this video with, and I recorded it. His name was Dan Maloney. He played the guitar. And
I met Dan. He was at the National Health Association. I met him. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was outside playing some kind of flute device, and I said, "What is that?" And he explained it to me. He goes, "Oh, I'm Dan. I'm Sean." So I introduced myself. Came back and I sat with Frank at lunch, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know Dan." He plays guitar.
And they did a song called "Last Dance with Mary Jane," and actually we called it "Last Dance with Meat and Dairy."
See, these things should be all over the YouTube.
I know. I put it up there, and honestly, every once in a while I go back and listen to it because I think they did a better rendition than Tom Petty. That was the first time they had ever played together. Oh my God. It was absolutely, I just sat there, my tongue just in my mouth was like, oh, this is incredible. You guys are amazing together.
Oh, they're hoots.
I knew that Frank, I mean, he's incredible.
He is an incredible person. I met Frank when I started sprouting. He was actually buying sprouts from me. I didn't know who he was. And he would just come in and said, "Yeah, I just need more sprouts." I said, "What?" And I finally had to pull him aside. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I have protocols for people that are using sprouts for their diets." Holy cow. And then he told me he was Dr. Frank Sabatino. I didn't know any of this, right, when he was coming in. I used to just call him Frank. I didn't know.
Frank is amazing. He really is.
He does some amazing things for people.
I know. Oh my God. Well, he's been doing this. He got the memo like a lot earlier than most of us.
Yeah.
So
close to 40 years, right?
It has been. Yeah. It has been. And he looks amazing. He just turned, I think it was 69 or 70, something like that. He looks, you would not know that this man is 69 years old or 70 years old, whatever it is. He looks fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. And the wealth of knowledge is unbelievable.
Oh my God. He's like a walking encyclopedia. Yeah. He's just incredible. You can talk to him about anything. And we're going to be doing one on the gut biome coming up soon. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, his presentation at the NHA was unbelievable.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's incredible. He's just, anyway.
Yeah. We can go on about it. He's amazing.
I know.
So there are some great people out there. There really is some great knowledge, and we're all learning. I mean, I learned from you. You learned from me. I learned from Frank. It's that's the beauty of this, because we're all learning together, which is great. Right?
Well, the day I die will be the day I stop learning. Truly.
Yeah.
Without question.
I remember reading some book, and they said the very first question you should ask yourself every morning when you wake up is, how teachable are you? As long as you think and you actually, are able to open yourself up to learn every day. And again, I tell people, this is a lifestyle. This isn't just a fad. This is going to be your life. Yeah. So
it's not a diet. I don't think this is a diet.
No. And why do they call it a diet? You ever wonder that?
No, lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's plant-based.
I don't want to do anything that would die in it.
Right?
I want to live it.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah. That's a good one. Well, Sean, it has been absolutely a pleasure talking with you, and I know I'll see you at the next round of conferences.
Yeah, it was great meeting you there as well, and I learned so much from your weight loss program. It was amazing, so I would shout out to that as well.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I put my heart and soul into this, because I thought about over the 10 years and all the potholes I went through trying to navigate this lifestyle and learning about it and why. Why was I still so addicted to cheese?
Yeah.
Found out from Neil. Thanks, Neil. You know, he cured me from that. If you've not seen that series I've done with Dr. Neil Barnard on the cheese trap, wow.
Yeah.
That will cure you. If you're still addicted to cheese, that'll cure you right away. So it was after that series, it was like, thanks, Neil. Appreciated that. It really sealed it. Sealed the deal for cheese for me. Not a problem. So anyway.
Keep doing your excellent work. That's incredible. You know,
well, thank you. Thank you.
Really
and
help a lot of people out. So
well, and I tried to put everything into it that I needed to know.
Right.
And in one-stop shopping. And the program that I've created is absolutely incredible. You know, I talk about how to replace, then we go through inform, reform, and then transform. So it's a 4-step process, and I guide you through it. So I kind of think of myself as, instead of being the sage on the stage, I'm the guide on the side and helping you to navigate this way of living. So
and it's and all those short little things you can tweak that, you know, saves people time and that makes it easier for people, so you don't have to keep bashing your head against the wall. You know?
I know
that's the key. Yeah, it's a key.
With your sprouts. I mean, after we get off, I'm gonna have to order some stuff. So you know, these sprouters and the beans and your seeds, because I'm really starting to get into this a lot more. And
excellent.
You know, so I appreciate your knowledge and sharing it with us today. So thank you so much.
It was great. It was great speaking with you. Great to see you again. We have to get together again.
Right. Next time, next conference.
Yep.
All right. Well, you take care. Have a great day.
You too. God bless. Thank you.